Is this thing rolling? Selfie mode. What's up, guys? I just got back from watching Wakanda Forever at my local Cinemark in XD 3D, and I thought I'd share with you my experience. Now, whatever I say, take with a grain of salt because everybody's experience could be completely different when it comes to the movie theater. A lot of factors go in that, like where you're seated at. If the room is dark enough, some theaters they don't dim the lights all the way on the sides of the walls. If the bulb needs replacing, there's just a bunch of things. I've been to some really broken down movie theaters that made watching 3D movies just not enjoyable. But this one that I went to is fairly new, and I've always had usually pretty pleasant experiences with 3D. Um, so I'll just share my thoughts with you without spoiling too much of it. Uh, the movie itself was great. No spoilers, but I think everybody should go and see it no matter what format you choose to see it in. It was a really good movie. Um, as far as the 3D goes, this was not IMAX enhanced. I didn't go to an IMAX theater, so it looked like it had what was 2 by 39 widescreen. There were black bars on the top and bottom, but I mean, on a screen that huge, it's like ignorance is bliss, you know? It usually still looks good no matter what. For like the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, I would say that it looked fantastic. The colors were great, brightness seemed fine, wasn't straining my eyes. You could clearly tell that there were many different layers of separation, uh, especially like when you're in downtown Wakanda, how the streets just kind of go inward, kind of looks like you're there. But after that, it felt really flat. I kept taking my glasses off throughout most of the movie to see if I was in fact watching a 3D movie, and it looked pretty much 2D most of the time. There were some underwater scenes that looked fantastic. Made me think of Avatar, actually. It made me want to watch the new Avatar movie. Um, but yeah, other than that, nothing really of note. There were a couple scenes where it looked like spears that were being pointed at other people looked like they were kind of coming off the screen a little bit, but I mean, nothing that really comes out at you. No, nothing that makes you feel like you're immersed in the movie. It honestly just felt like I was wearing an extra pair of glasses over my glasses for no reason. Uh, when you compare it to the first Black Panther movie, I mean, that one had some scenes that were a little too dark as well, but for the most part, that movie was awesome in 3D, especially the 3D Blu ray being IMAX enhanced and all. But this one fell short, I felt like. And I don't think that it is any fault of the management of the Cinemark that I went to, because before the movie came on, there were three previews that were shown in 3D that looked a gazillion times better than what we saw with Wakanda Forever. Now, that could just be that, they're showing the best parts in 3D for the preview, and it could be the same case with those movies when they come out, that most of the movies are bland. But I doubt it, because, I mean, we're talking about one of those previews being Avatar, the sequel, which looked fantastic. I remember I nudged my buddy in the seat next to me and I was like, now this looks freaking cool. This is what 3D should look like. I mean, when we saw the sequel preview for Avatar, I mean, there were scenes where it looked like some of the characters were literally standing right outside the screen, with the audience. It just looked so immersive. The Little Mermaid preview was another one. That one looked really, really cool too. Don't think I'll see The Little Mermaid. I'm not really into Disney princesses too much. I don't really have any kids that are into it. My son doesn't even really watch most movies with me. He's more into his arts and crafts things over movies. But if you have children who would be interested in that, I highly recommend taking them to see The Little Mermaid in 3D if it does, in fact, come out in 3D. Um, Poor Mulan, I saw the trailer for that in 3D and I thought it was good, but then that one never came out to 3D because of the pandemic, I'm pretty sure. Um, And then we had the new Ant-Man movie. That was another trailer that was in 3D. That one surprisingly looked very underwhelming, just as bland as Black Panther: Wakanda Forever was. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the sequel to Avatar. So yeah, my thoughts about the Black Panther movie, as far as the 3D goes, here's my problem with it. If we do in fact get a 3D release and it's from Amazon Japan, um, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a problem, guys, with the whole forced subtitles issue or lack of forced subtitles. It wasn't that big of a deal with Doctor Strange because there were only a couple scenes where they spoke Espanol, and then Eternals. I mean, there are some scenes where one of the Eternals is deaf, I believe, so she uses sign language, but there weren't that many of those scenes, and I remembered what she was communicating from the first time I watched it with subtitles, so that didn't bother me. I left the subtitles off throughout both those movies. Shang-Chi was another story. That one was really difficult for me because a lot of that movie was in Mandarin, and I tried using my remote to pause, go into the menu, which is in Japanese, by the way, turn on English subtitles, turn them off when the scene's over. Oh shoot, it's not over. Turn it back on. And then eventually I think I glitched it to where I actually had to like take the disc out and put it back in. So that was really stressful for me. I tried it on 3 different players and same thing with all of them. Um, it's going to be like that with this one, guys, because I want to say like 30% of the movie is them speaking Wakandan, and then another 30% it sounds like they're speaking Mayan. And yeah, so it's going to be a lot of back and forth with that. I know that there are some people out there that have the equipment that they can burn, um, I guess, take the file from the disk and do something with it on their computer to have like forced subtitles and then put it back on to like a burned copy. Uh, I don't know anything about that. I'm not very tech savvy. And besides, my computer, it doesn't even have like a physical disk drive, anyways. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. So I honestly might end up skipping getting the 3D Blu ray for this if Japan is the only place that's releasing it. Um, because I mean, I just don't want to go through the hassle of all that. Maybe if it goes down in price, but right off the bat, they're like $80 to $100 when they're first released. So who knows? We'll see. But that's all I have. I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. I still think you should go see it. If you do see it and it's showing in this format, I would try to see it in IMAX 3D. That's what I really wanted to see it in. But I bought my tickets too late. I normally go on premiere nights because I have Wednesdays and Thursdays off from work. So I usually try to go on premiere nights Thursday night. But I was too late with buying the tickets, and then the I worked all the way up until today. So a week later, it's no longer showing in IMAX 3D. I think it was only in IMAX 3D for like 2 days here where I live. And then the rest of the theaters had it in real D 3D, but you know, the early bird showing where there's only like 3 people that show up. I mean, it's really ridiculous the way that they treat the format, but hey, I mean, I guess we're lucky to get what we get, right? Anyway, you all stay safe. Thanks for listening to my rant, and hope you all are doing well. Love you. Bye.